In the last video, we talked about the source of all, the oneness, and how practicing non-duality can help us to connect to our higher self, which is the spark of light that comes from the one source of all. In part 2, we discuss the spiritual traditions of non-duality, and we'll see how non-duality is not just a philosophy. It's a way of seeing the world that can transform how we live and interact in the world today. Plus, there are 3 simple exercises you can practice to start living in oneness today. Connect to your higher self. Focus to motivate and enrich your life, and inspire others to find their true path. Join me on a journey to discover your power and higher purpose. Non-duality isn't a new idea. Non-duality has been a cornerstone of many spiritual traditions throughout history. Advaita Vedanta, a school of Hindu philosophy that teaches the ultimate reality, or Brahman, is non-dual. It emphasizes that the individual self, or Atman, is not separate from Brahman, and that we are all fundamentally one consciousness, and our sense of individuality is an illusion. Buddhism, particularly in Zen and Mahayana traditions, the concept of emptiness points to the interdependence of all things, transcending dualistic thinking. Taoism, the Tao, or the Way, represents the unity underlying all apparent opposites, such as yin and yang. Christian mysticism. Mystics like Meister Eckhart spoke of the union between the soul and God, dissolving the boundary between the two. He said, "The eye with which I see God and the eye with which God sees me is one and the same." From the Hindu Upanishads to the teachings of the Buddha, from the Tao Te Ching to Christian mysticism, non-duality has been described as the ultimate truth behind existence. But how does this ancient idea of non-duality apply to the world we're living in today? A world that seems more divided than ever. Politics, religion, race, identity. Everywhere we look, there's polarization. Non-duality is not just a philosophy, it's a way of seeing the world that can transform how we live and interact. In a time when polarization feels overwhelming, it reminds us of our shared essence, our oneness. Non-duality teaches that there is no true separation between the individual and the universe. When this perspective is embraced, the act of manifesting shifts from trying to get something out there to realizing what is already within. This sense of unity dissolves feelings of lack, which often block manifestation. Desires are often accompanied by resistance, fear of failure, impatience, or attachment to outcomes. Non-duality encourages acceptance of the present moment as it is, without judgment. This openness removes resistance and creates space for desires to naturally unfold. From a non-dual perspective, desires are seen as expressions of the greater whole rather than personal wants. This alignment fosters trust in the universe's timing and reduces the pressure of control, making manifestation feel effortless and organic. Non-duality helps dissolve identification with the ego, which is often driven by attachment and external validation. Instead, desires become aligned with deeper values and universal truth, making the process of manifesting more authentic and fulfilling. Manifestation often requires being fully present to opportunities and synchronicities. Non-duality emphasizes mindfulness, allowing a person to stay attuned to the present moment and recognize subtle signs that align with their intentions. In practicing non-duality, we can look at it like this. Imagine someone wants to manifest abundance. From a non-dual perspective, instead of focusing on getting money, they might shift to feeling abundant in the here and now, recognizing that abundance is already present in various forms: relationships, health, creativity. They trust the process without clinging to specific outcomes, understanding that their desire for abundance is the universe expressing itself through them. This shift in mindset often reduces stress and leads to inspired actions that naturally bring about their goal. In essence, non-duality transforms manifestation from a process of wanting to one of being, allowing desires to arise and materialize in harmony with the flow of existence. By practicing these 3 simple practical steps, we can start to tap into the universal flow of oneness. That's not to say that these steps are easy, but just like we need to develop our bodies with physical exercise to improve our health over time, so too we need to practice mindfulness on a regular basis, so that over time we can change the pathways that our brains normally take, and thereby open ourselves up to new ways of thinking, and therefore new way of seeing and being in the world. We can integrate non-duality into our daily lives through practicing these 3 practical steps. 1. Practice mindfulness. Notice how your thoughts label and divide the world. Simply observe without judgment. You can take sides on topics and issues based on your values, but try not to get too emotional about a subject or a point of view. As an example, I have a political side I vote for based on my values, but I don't get too upset if they don't get into power. I simply accept what is and go with the flow. My mantra is always to be the best person I can be on any given day, regardless of external circumstances. 2. Embrace interconnectedness. Reflect on how your actions ripple out into the world. See yourself as part of a larger whole. Ask yourself, how do I contribute to the oneness that's out there? And this means reflecting on all aspects of your life. Consider, do my thoughts, emotions, and actions contribute to division in the world, or do they contribute to a world living in wholeness? 3. Let go of rigid identities. Recognize that you're not limited to any single label or role. You are much more than your job, your position in your family group, and your social persona. You have the potential of the universe within you. It is only mind that separates you from the whole. Be open to discovering a new version of who you are. To start discovering new aspects of who you really are, you can ask yourself this question daily, or at least regularly. Who am I really? The divisions we see are like waves on the ocean, temporary, ever-changing. But beneath the surface, the ocean is one. That oneness is who we truly are. To be kept in the loop for more motivation, inspiration, and sharing of mystical ideas that can spark your spirit, please like, subscribe, and share with your friends. Let's go on this journey together to create and to become 1% better each day.